All right, we're about to call the Wright School District School Board meeting, actually, the budget hearing portion to order. There we go. Ooh, that was a little hard. Would you please stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of
the United States of America,
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need to say it faster next time so you don't lag so bad. Or we need to slow down. Okay. Budget hearing for the 2026-2027 approved budget pursuant to ORS 294.453. Carolyn, Director of Fiscal Services, would you please enlighten us?
So tonight, on May 4th, the Budget Committee approved our 26-27 budget in the amount of 22,128,287. And so tonight, we need you guys to approve our resolution that sets our appropriations according to the budget. And so that's what we're here for tonight.
Okay. Is there, I have one yellow card and it does not pertain to the budget. What? Participate specific to the budget hearing. Is there any further? I know. This does not. I know. It just says that there's, if there is any, there isn't any. That's what, I'm sorry, we misunderstood each other. Does anybody have anything to on the board? Tracy, anybody have any comments about that? Okay, thank you. We're gonna close this meeting and move on. Budget hearing meeting is adjourned. Okay. All right. Now, for the regular scheduled school board meeting, I bring that to order. Welcome to the Wright School District School Board meeting. We've already done the pledge. Communications to the board and review of agenda.
Yep, no communications and no additions to the agenda.
Thank you. Approval of consent agenda. I would entertain a motion for that.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Okay, before I call for the vote, I just want to remind everybody that there's only, I guess Tracy's here, so we do have 4. Never mind. Sorry, Tracy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, okay. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. Now, public participation. And we have one of those, what has become rare, yellow cards. Anyone that has completed a yellow card wishing to address, I assume I have to read it. Not really. Okay. till it turns green. And talk close to it, please.
Not close to it.
So I come here as the Glide High School OSET coach, which is Oregon High School Equestrian Team. I want to propose a change to the Glide School District interscholastic activities here at GHS, which is code IGEJ. The Oregon Department of Education defines interscholastic activities for students in 9th through 12th grade as those sanctioned by OSAA, which is our Oregon State Athletics Association. So students that are homeschooled or in high school equivalency programs or public charter schools can participate in interscholastic activities within our district that they reside in that are OSA sanctioned events. So basically most of our sports you can see on OSAA. So if you look FFA, drama, things are those that require school attendance or count as clubs. They don't. So, and there is a OAR with that. I'm sure y'all can look it up. I'll give it to you. But these laws do not prohibit the district and charter schools, homeschools, and high school equivalency students from coming to an agreement within the school district to participate in these non-OSA activities. So this rule has been in effect since 2017. You know, I understand that it's hard to want to have kids that aren't coming to our school to participate in activities, especially if there is a cost to the district. But OSET, other than a little time when Melissa has to run my eligibility report and the school district handles our money, Katie, I know there don't see much back and forth through, handles all of our money. OSET refers to that, right? Just good. So OSET not being sanctioned by OSAA, but we're called to sport. We have to adhere to all the rules and regulations of an OSA team at the state and district level. The OSET athletes have to fill out the same forms, get physicals, grade, and attendance qualifications, and so forth. These athletes even earn a school letter and awards. In every way, we're the same as an OSA sport, just not sanctioned as far as we feel and how we feel we're treated at the school. But OSET is completely self-funded. The school district doesn't pay any of our fees, uniforms, coaches, equipments, or anything towards these athletes or their program. These student athletes fundraise to cover all expenses over their season, which is November 1st to the middle of June. Our state meet is in May. Regional is actually this weekend. We actually have 2 kids going to Moses Lake, Washington. And this is the second time in our 4-year that we've had a team that we've actually sent kids to regional. And to get to regionals, you have to be in the top 5 of the state. So both of our kids that are going actually placed 3rd. So, but so as a team this last year, we raised close to $12,000, which covers uniforms, equipments, everything. We ourselves are fortunate that we don't have to pay for a arena. Next year we don't have to. But there are a lot of schools that do pay for an arena. But we do have someone who lets us use an arena for free. In the past, we have had to pay. So we have 3 meets that are 3 days each up in Eugene at the Working Horse Center. So as well as covering all of our team stuff, we also have been fortunate enough to raise enough money to help pay for the camping and our food and to try and not put that cost on the parents. So anyway, so OSET does not have a limit to team members. Actually, the more team members, the better. OSET is a point system and it accumulates over the 3 meets for qualifications for state. So the more kids you have, the more points you earn. We have team events that are 2, 3, 4, or 5+ members per that team event. So honestly, the more kids is better. On top of that, these kids have to take care of their animals all year round. It's not like your basketball shoes you go in the closet for the next season. That's me. So South Valley OSET district is our district that we participate in. OSET has districts, kind of like our OSA has districts across the state. We have our districts. That's the district we participate in. There's 23 schools in our district. I know I've talked to our state and district level that we do have a lot of kids that are either homeschooled in a GED program or charter schools who participate in OSET. And I am sad to say we're the first school in the state of Oregon that is not allowing it. I agree that the best situation would be for all of our student athletes to attend high school or online program. Unfortunately, myself nor anybody else can control what parents perceive as or believe what's best for their child or family. But I believe that these student athletes that live within our district boundaries that are allowed to participate in other activities that are OSA sanctioned be available to the OSET. I mean, I do not foresee, after talking at our state level, of OSET ever becoming OSA sanctioned because it's a lot. I think it's a lot. I don't think it's something OSA ever would want to do. Just because of, like I said, we have districts, it's a lot. But, by making OSET a recognized sport, it will allow, something we could do in our policy as well. That's what I'm saying. That we could let these student athletes be part of our athletic team family and part of Glide High School. So our Glide School District policy current states that the district allows homeschool students that reside in the district, student eligible to attend school enrolled in a high school equivalency program that reside in the district, and students that reside in the district attend a public charter school, which does not provide interscholastic activities, the opportunity to participate in available interscholastic activities when the requirements found in the Oregon law are met. I want to amend that recognizes, OSET is recognized that we can fall into the category the same as OSA sports. We're held to all the OSA everything except for this. And it kind of cut, why do we have to follow all the rules and regulations? I mean, why can't we just be like, I'd work club, let's just sign up for them. We're gonna do that. So our requirements are different for OSET than anything else. And if not, at least we can at least come to an agreement between the charter school, homeschool students and for this programs to be allowed to participate like the other schools in our district. I'm really excited that Glide OSET is actually going to be probably one of the most fortunate teams in the state when our arena is finished, because we're going to have our own arena, which is going to be fabulous in so many ways. Go on. But not having to pay for anywhere to practice, you know, it just to me would be great to have any student athlete that lives in our district that wants to be part of our OSET program together.
So our policy, the problem, like our policy states that because of the way OSET's set up,
So ODE does not, so ODE defines interscholastic activities for 9th through 12th grades as OSA sanctioned events. So since OSET is, so if you are homeschooled in a GED program at UCC or go to a charter school, you can participate in football, basketball, anything that's an OSA sanctioned activity. OSET is not sanctioned by them. And so if we have students who want to come do OSET that are going to charter school or they can't. This law doesn't prohibit them. It's up to the school to make that, to agree with. If like the charter school, like Reedsport Charter School, they have football, but they don't have basketball. So their students would have to play football there, but they can play basketball with extracurricular. But, so unfortunate, and I don't like that we're losing lots of students that are leaving our school or our program. I don't want to lose kids are going to both sides.
Have you identified such students? I assume you have, because do you have a rough number?
Right now I have two. I only know one for sure. I don't think one will come back that we haven't for. We have a boy that's my daughter's age. Yeah, he left, he's going to charter school back in this month. Yes, has been a real. Really like to have him. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
Any other questions, clarifying questions? Kristen, thank you very much. Okay, I've got the next action item as resolution number 4-25-26. adopting the 26-27 budget. I would entertain a motion for doing that.
I move to approve resolution 4/25/26, adopting the budget, making appropriations, imposing taxes, and categorizing taxes as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been presented and seconded. Any discussion?
Thank you to the budget committee. And thank you especially to Caroline and the team for all the work that you did.
Absolutely.
You're here.
Huge deal. Okay, hearing no other discussion. I call it to a vote. All in favor of approving resolution 4-25-26, adopting the budget, making appropriations, imposing taxes, and categorizing, oh boy, categorizing taxes as presented. Say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes, well, everybody said aye, so it was unanimous. I don't have to ask who opposed, so. Okay. Thank you for that. Next on the agenda, Booster Club donation, presented by Superintendent Freeman.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad Kristen is here. You probably didn't know that Kristen is now our Booster Club president, so she chose to put yet another hat on her head. And so really excited about Kristen's leadership in that program. This wasn't your typical donation, so I chose not to put it in the consent agenda because I really wanted to make it public and I wanted it to be public, the thank you given to the Booster Club. I don't know if you've been in a gym where they have retractable flags, but it's super cool to have a retractable flag. So some of the ones that I've seen, they actually time it to the national anthem. So as the national anthem starts, it comes down, full flag, goes back up and finishes at the time the national anthem finishes. I assume this one does that. I don't know for sure. But the Booster Club raised money and dedicated a retractable huge flag for our gym. And we're super excited about that. And I just wanted to publicly thank the Booster Club for doing that. So, Kristen, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. It's going to be a great
Awesome.
addition to our gym.
Really awesome.
I can't hear if there's talking happening.
Yeah. Tracy didn't hear. Tracy, I was just saying that it will help because being in the gym, people are always looking for the flag. Like, where is it? So this will help tremendously.
That's very wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right. Textbook adoption. Principal Dwight.
Yeah, so this is the year for social studies textbook adoption. We put a committee together to look at that from the elementary school, middle school, and high school. Through that, the elementary decided their curriculum that they have will suffice for the next amount of time. The middle school and high school have quotes there for you. The books and curriculum that the committee has determined they would like to purchase has it on display in the district office if you guys for community and parents to look at it and provide input. Yeah. So, and hopefully at the June meeting, we can approve that. And
The July meeting.
yes, at the July meeting. Yes, we don't have to go to the June meeting. This is the June meeting, sorry.
So a couple things to add to that. The curriculum they reviewed was all off of the state adoption curriculum. So it meets that criteria. And this process follows our policy on adopting curriculum. So this is notifying you of that process. And then in July, it will bring it to you for a vote.
And you said the books are Are they available to review?
Yep, at the district office.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I thought you said. Any other questions or? Okay, thank you. Long-range facility planning.
Yeah, so exciting. Had another wonderful meeting with Assist today. John Stapleton from Quest joined us. The process is, it feels like the energy is picking up. Kyle assures me that it's really not till August, when teachers and kids are starting to come back to the building, that things are really going to ramp up. But it feels like things are already ramping up. Everybody we talked to about the projects are super excited about the opportunity that Glide has. We've narrowed the projects down into two different buckets, safety and security. And I think I reviewed the projects with you last time, but if you want me to go over those again, I certainly can. And the student experience. Following our strategic plan and getting to know this board and this community, you guys really put a lot of value on the experiences that kids have as they go through Glide. And I think either Mr. Shaw or somebody said, maybe it was Miss Holland, that, you know, you want kids to leave Glide with the same feeling that you have about Glide. And so continuing to enhance those experiences are super important. Early on in this process, I was super naive and thought I could do this process by myself. I'm so glad you allowed me to seek professionals, because I continue to learn more and more about things I didn't know. So one of those new things I learned is that we have to have what's called bond counsel. And bond counsel is an attorney. There are 3 in the state of Oregon. The one that we engaged with today, that's all her and her law firm do, is they just work on capital improvement bonds or public debt for large entities. I was just telling my group earlier, sidebar, it's amazing how you just continue to learn these little nooks and crannies of job opportunities. Like, who knew that you could focus on this one little area? And I'm sure she's making bank. But she's the expert, and that's who everybody goes to. Met with her today, her and another person from the firm, along with Kyle. And they're super excited about the projects that we're doing. Their timeline is as follows, if you want to write this down. They're going to have in front of you a proposed bond resolution, capital improvement bond resolution, for the July 15th board meeting. There's actually going to be a couple of them, I think. We haven't narrowed it down. You're going to have one for the 16 million, and you're going to have one for the 22 million. And the reason you're having 2 of them is because there is a very, very slight outside chance that even though we are eligible for the Awesome Grant, that we may not get it. Kyle insists that in all his years of doing bonds, no district that has passed a bond has not gotten that grant. But I think he shared, I don't know if we shared at this level, but we rank 171 in the order of the Awesome Grant. So what that means is people in front of us that exhausts that budget, the state budget, they have to go for a bond in November, and they have to be successful on their bond. The likelihood of all those schools to have a successful bond campaign in November is very low. So Kyle is very confident that when we pass our bond, we will move up and we'll be eligible for that. But we do need to prepare for those differences. So you're going to probably see that. He'll explain that better to you, I'm sure, next month. And then we have to submit that application for the Awesome Grant before our August board meeting. So that's why you're going to see the resolution in July. And then we'll be prepared to hit the button at 8:00 in the morning in August. And they say that the turnaround on notifying schools is pretty quick. So we'll know 2 to 3 weeks after that where we're at in that order of submission, whether we made the cutoff line. So we would only need to post the $22 million resolution, or if if we're early in the wait line, that's also, there's a pretty good chance we're going to get that because not all the school districts ahead of us are going to pass their bond. If we're towards the end of that wait line, then he's going to probably come to you and talk to you about, do we still want to go in November or do we want to talk about waiting until May? That's a very small possibility. So I know I threw that out there, but I don't want you to leave with that. Really, everything is lining up for the 22 million going in November. Any questions about that?
So we'll know before we decide to put it on whether we're, gonna get that awesome grant or not.
Correct.
So, I mean, we're not gonna go out there and say, oh, we're gonna get this, and then lo and behold, we don't. When we pass it.
Yeah, no, we'll be able to pull those resolutions if you decide when we find out where we're at in that order and you guys like, that's too much of a risk. We don't want to do that. Then you can decide to pull that and we can then go in May.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but you have that option pretty close to when the ballots come out.
And then what does that mean for adjustment of the potential, what gets funded? Is there like Plan B?
Yeah,
contingency?
so I think that would be part of continuing the discussion. Yep. And I know we talked super briefly today, like not details, because right now we're still waiting on we're hiring a technical term, a person who can calculate the cost, a rough cost of what our project's going to be. And that's actually what John Stapleton is waiting on right now, getting those numbers. But it really looks like if we were to prioritize that, the first thing off of the list would be the athletic facilities additions that we talked about.
And like those numbers, you see a lot of that stuff, on these public fields, the I-5 bridge or whatever, it's supposed to cost so many billions and it's
Mhm.
about 3 times that now and they haven't got nothing done. I mean, we don't have to, those guys are pretty accurate on what they're saying on our price.
They're pretty accurate, but they also add a 20% contingency too, because of the
Okay.
way prices are going up
Right,
beyond our control.
right, okay, that's kind of what I like.
Yeah. Yeah, they account for all that.
Hey, Dan,
I did.
better late than never. Well. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, the next thing we talked about in the meeting today was our next community involvement meeting. And they would like to have gosh, why I need to start writing these terms down. John wants to put different pictures out there of what buildings could look like for the projects and have people participate in picking out what would look. I felt like an idiot because on the first slide deck, I'm like, well, those buildings right there would fit into our district. They look just like our buildings. They were our buildings. Yeah, like how about those up there? He says, oh, these are your current buildings. And then the lower deck was some renderings of what could be. And so I kicked around instead of having 2 commitments in August, is what if we just had a quick board meeting on August 19th and then had our community participation meeting after that meeting, whether it's 6:30 or 7 o'clock that night.
That sounds amazing to me.
Yeah,
Seems logical. but
that is a Wednesday.
That's a Wednesday. That's our next scheduled board meeting is August 19th. And typically I'm going to jinx this. Typically in August, we don't have a very full agenda. So I think our board meeting could be relatively short. And then we could just roll out of that into the community meeting. And give another opportunity for our community to participate in the process.
We have a meeting in July though, right?
We do. We'll
Okay.
still have the meeting in July. But we won't,
Oh, next meeting was for the budget or no, the bond thing. Okay.
yes.
So
So
it's
our
slow.
next community meeting,
Yeah.
sorry, I probably wasn't very clear on that. They want to have another community meeting and they're shooting for August.
Okay.
He really is trying to hold off on getting a lot of information out until school is back on everybody's mind. So he wants to wait till the middle or the end of August. So if we do a community involvement meeting at our August board meeting, then he's going to have flyers and informationals that are going to ready to roll out the end of August, September, and then in October about the same time that ballots come out. So he's got a
thought
plan on that.
That we had talked about that in August is when we were supposed to make the decision to put it on the ballot.
So we have to make that decision before August, it's August 15th, 14th. That we have to
Decide whether to put it on the ballot or not.
to get it into the county so it's on the
So
ballot.
this meeting would be after
Correct.
we,
So we need to make that decision at our next meeting
What decision?
to put it on the ballot or not.
well,
I thought so at the July meeting, you're going to get two resolutions,
Mhm.
draft resolutions, one for the 16 million and one for
22.
the 22 million.
Mhm.
And so you're going to, hopefully you get those before the meeting so you can look at them and read them and you're going to vote on those.
Okay.
And then by August 14th, we have to have those submitted to the
And-
county.
we have to have another meeting
No,
or
we'd already approved that on the 15th in July. We send those in. Once we hear back on whether we're going to get the awesome grant or not, we'll pull one of those resolutions. I'm hoping we're pulling the 16 million. So we're just have the 22 million.
And I'm sorry, it'd be great to see these dates, but when is it that the state will let us know?
About the awesome grant,
Uh-huh.
there's no timeline. Both of them said it's usually a pretty quick turnaround, 2 to 3 weeks. So after that July 19th date, no, I'm getting my numbers, July what?
15th.
July 15th at 8 AM, I have to hit submit. And then so 2 to 3 weeks after that, we'll know for sure. So we should know by the time we submit. By August 14th. It'll be close.
So, oh, wait, so I'm confused. You said on the 15th, you have to submit it by 8 AM, but that is our board meeting.
That's the application, that is applying for the awesome grant with the State Department.
Oh, okay.
That's the $6.1 million that we're eligible for. I did confirm today that we have all of our reports in and our long range facilities plan in. That date was July 1st was our deadline. Our next deadline is the 15th. And that's when we actually apply for saying that we are anticipating going for a bond in November.
But would
Two
it,
different entities. So the August one has to do with the county and getting our resolution on the ballot. The July one is saying that we're going to go for the awesome grant through the state.
and do we need more action to go for the awesome grant or
No.
we've already done it?
No, we've already done it. Well, it doesn't require board action. It's just a form we fill out.
Is there a decision? Throw a lot of dates around, so. Is there a decision that needs to be made between July 15th and August 19th? That the board needs to,
No, because you're going to do that on the 15th. So that's the whole, remember when Tracy was sending out that saying we're going to have to do, she got those two things mixed up. She thought that we had to, so she got them backwards. And so the decision you're going to make in July is the one that you have to make a decision on. And you're gonna have two samples of those. So you're gonna go make a decision on both of those, whether it's the $16 million or the $22 million. We're hoping to hear back from the state, whether we receive that grant or not, before the 14th of August, when we have to submit that to the county to get on the ballot.
So the
If we-
decision on the 14th, whether it's gonna be 16 or 22, will be decided upon how-
From the state,
from the state,
yep,
okay,
to whether we get the grant or
on
not.
whether we, okay. Yeah, thank you. Right. Right.
Yeah, so July's decision is going to be on what the exact wording is for the resolution that's going out to voters. Reason we hired bond counsel is because they can word that resolution that allows us the greatest flexibility to do what we want to do with the money. And I say that very cautiously because in that resolution, it's going to outline around safety and security and student experience, what the projects are going to be.
Believe it or not, I think I got it. Thank you.
Tracy, is that pretty accurate from today?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Lots of information. Okay, so let me just review it really super quick.
Okay.
Because I'm not 100% sure everybody's on it. So the next decision you're going to make is the July board meeting. And you'll have two resolutions to review. One for 16 million, one for 22 million. We're going to ask you to finalize both of those in preparation for August 14th, when we have to submit to the county that bond resolution, capital improvement bond resolution. Between the 15th and August 14th, we should hear back from the state of whether we are guaranteed the $6.1 million or where we're at in the waiting line of receiving the $6.1 million. If we're close to the beginning of that waiting line, the odds are really good that we're going to get it. If we're towards the end, the odds are still with us that we're going to get it because nobody has yet to be awarded the awesome grant and not received it if they pass a bond. But the further back you are, the less chance you have if districts in front of you pass a bond. The next caveat is you guys, along with Assist and Pivot, were wanting another community involvement meeting. And that's when I threw out, let's do it after the board meeting on the 19th. So lots of balls in the air. I get why it's super confusing. This is my world now. So lots of stuff going on. And thank goodness we have professionals that are guiding this process. Correct. Yeah.
Is somebody talking?
So I'm
We were-
late and
We were
not
seeing if
the
you could
button.
read lips.
So,
Oh. Whoops.
what I was
Epic
saying is
fail.
another way to look at it might just be in July, we're thumbs up or thumbs down on whether we're passing a bond or not, whether we want to go for a bond. The amount of the bond is to be determined based on future events, but we're going for a $22 million bond. It's kind of confusing when you start talking about, we're trying to pass two bonds, and I think that's where some of the confusion is. We're just trying to pass a bond. The amount to be determined in a couple of weeks after we vote for it.
You're absolutely right, Dan, but not to get too confusing. You've already agreed that you're going for a bond. So
Well, right.
Carolyn's probably getting nervous over there. Oh no, you're
Yeah,
not going to go?
Right.
Because we spent a lot of money already, but yes, you're going to actually approve the wording to go for that bond.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions over that?
I just,
Clear as mud.
it clears mud. I just, you said the 14th, that's just, you have to submit something to the county.
If you miss that, that's the deadline, the latest you can submit to get on the November ballot.
And if whatever, we change our mind, it's gonna go on, right?
I don't know the answer to that. My understanding from Kyle is that we could still pull it
Okay.
anytime. But I don't know if it's still gonna be on there or not.
Okay.
I assume if we pull it, it wouldn't be on the ballot, but I don't know their rules.
Well, yeah, at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on the ballot.
Exactly.
And that might be that August 14th date. I can find out for sure for you though.
It doesn't, it's not a big deal. It's
That-
just more
That's
like,
me. I
we
just-
have like, okay, are we gonna hear back in time or not hear? Not that it changes any outcome. It's nice to know just
Totally
agree what our potential, sure, like you're saying, if we're like, say, there's 200 school districts ahead of us. And we're like, "Ugh, our odds are not good to get that additional 6 million, then, do we pause? Do we not? Do we go for it?
So Kyle will help you guys with that decision.
Murphy's Law says we'll be right.
We won't be.
I've
one.
decided we're gonna get it.
We won't be last. We're gonna be,
Yeah.
We're gonna get it.
Who's gonna get it?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My last thing I have for you is I am going to take a vacation. And so I'm going to be out for about 10 days. So Tuesday through July 4th actually is when we're coming back. I'm still available by phone. Just ask that it be kind of an emergency if you get a hold of me. But even if it's not, it comes with my title. So if you need to get a hold of me, feel free to do so.
Well, thanks for that. Hopefully we don't have to.
Knock on wood. Things have been pretty quiet lately.
We probably won't
While
be
you're out.
allowed. We weren't allowed to.
What's that?
call.
Carolyn's in charge while you're out.
Always.
The Kauai rule. You go to
Kauai
Kauai, you
As
have to get charged.
never
yes.
say the Q word. That's a jail rule. Sorry.
Sorry. All right. Thank you very much.
I have one question about the Awesome Grant. How many do they usually give out?
So that's something you guys need to know because you're going to hear, you guys heard at the last meeting, you have people who are really against taxes and stuff. So that grant was passed by legislation and we're all getting taxed on that every single year. And the amount of that fund is determined through the governor's budget process. So that's not a vote on whether you're going to pay that tax or not. You're going to pay that tax. The conversation then becomes, do you want that money to come back to us? Or do you want that money to go somewhere else? Because that money's going somewhere. It's already been determined. And so there's a certain pot of money that legislation sets aside to incentivize districts to pass a capital improvement bond. If you remember Kyle's soapbox is capital improvement bonds are the only mechanisms for school districts in the state of Oregon to raise enough funds to build facilities. The state school fund is not designed for school districts to save enough money to, over a period of time, to build new facilities. And so he had talked about the different phases of that. And districts weren't passing bonds. And honestly, south of Eugene, it's been super difficult for schools, especially rural schools, to pass bonds. So legislation decided they were going to start incentivizing districts or communities to pass bonds. And so I don't remember the exact date when that started, but we all now pay into that through our taxes. And that money is set aside for incentives for communities to pass bonds. The reality is it's only helped, like a lot of decisions legislation makes, it really only helps build districts in the valley and the Portland and Salem area because they're the only ones that can pass bonds. They can also, by the way, pass levies. And so not only do they get money from the Awesome Grant, they can also pass their own levies too. So that's why districts like 4J, they're on a cycle of replacing schools every so many years. We don't have that luxury here. But If somebody starts talking to you about the Awesome Grant, it's super important to let them know that we're already paying for all that. So now you just have to decide whether you want that money to come to us or go to another school district.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the way you framed that at the community meeting, Robert, because I think that was good because the person that was really loud was sitting behind me. And I also think that the frame that we also need to reiterate, and I do think that Sandy Hart's done a big job on
Yeah,
Facebook. I'll just,
she has.
Sandy. You know, the messaging in, this is no new taxes. We're not talking about increasing. So I think it was really important that he hear, you're not already getting, you know, charged this and now we're going to add this. It's like, that's the same money that's already coming out. There's no new money coming out. And also that the future thinking about for this community, because I think it was like, oh, well, those are just nice to, that's what I heard a lot of grumbling about, you know, those are nice to have instead of thinking about what are we planning for the future for the school district.
Love that.
And I think we have to like continue to message that. And that was part of the conversation, you know, that we had after the meeting. So I just would encourage us all to be thinking and framing that as like, this isn't just a, oh, these would be nice that the kids would have, you know, this or that. It would be like, this is what we're planning for the future for the school district. So,
Yeah,
and there's
if we,
really cool. I mean, I had a chance to talk to John quite a bit, partly because of, I had a lot of questions about like design and things like that. And I think, you know, having Glide have a, like, especially for the middle school design, I haven't get those acronyms right. It's the learning environment where there's a lot of like ability to use that middle space. That's a huge selling point.
Yeah.
And that is future thinking. That is not like building a classroom, you know, with only, you know, you walk in the door and that's your classroom, but really that combined space where you can do so much more. And he really talked that would put Glide, and which again, another promotion, which is great in terms of all the work that you've all done on that, is it's another promotion of Glide moving into, you know, the future of schools and where learning is headed, which is, you know, combined and team and all of those things. So I think that was an important selling point that didn't come out in that conversation.
Yeah.
It was
So he was on a roll today. Tracy heard him. He speaks so good at our meetings on Wednesdays. And honestly, we just need to videotape him when he talks on Wednesdays and then start posting those videos. But he did not come across in that community meeting the way that he comes across in these. He's so knowledgeable and he's such a forward thinker. And that community learning space is such an important selling point because of when you ask people, well, why do you want your own middle school? Every one of them talks about developing their own identity, their sense of community, their sense of space, and that commons learning space checks all those boxes.
Yeah. And I mean, we also talked about just the evolution of, you know, with, you know, AI and all the things that kids are going to be, you know, absorbing. That also creates like that, you know, opportunity for hands-on and different types of learning, which I thought was fantastic. So yeah, talk about niche. I was like, wow, you have like built a niche of like expertise that is really interesting.
I'm with Tracy. This thing is going to go. But I also agree with you, Janet. I think it's the way we market it. I think we have to be really conscientious about how we market it and make sure those points are all highlighted. And so I know one of the things he's going to do is give you it's called a 6x1. It's 6 facts about the bond on one sheet of paper, on a small sheet of paper that are talking points. And that will help focus all those things points we want to make.
Janet, you mentioned that some people said it, you know, is it necessary? And that's a really difficult mental issue to get past, but if you wait until it's necessary, you're already so far behind the 8 ball, yeah, you'll be kicking and scratching just to throw on a bunch of Band-Aids and you'll never stop the bleed. So,
well, that's where you'll get to like the Jervis School District was either we're going to pass a bond or we're going to shut the school district down. And everyone in this room, you guys all have that forward thinking. Now our job is to make sure we convey that to the community.
I like the talking points. That'll help
Yep.
us with our 30-second elevator speech.
Exactly.
So to help promote that. Great. All right. Financial report. Carolyn, please.
So, I'll have the firm number at the July meeting, because that'll be the June. But as of the end of May, we are ending strong, partly because we had some one-time money that we got this year in relation to federal forest fees. I do also know though, and I kind of put a little projection that in May of next year, we will owe money for this 25-26 year when they, they pull all of our actuals in and they get our final numbers.
Mhm.
And we're fortunate that when they are on the 25-26 year, they're looking at our 25-26 enrollment numbers as well as our 24-25. And we're very fortunate that 24-25 is still a good number. It's not as high as what they're using right now because they're using our second period ADM for 25-26. So we will owe money in May of 25-26. So I've kind of tried to pencil that out, and I put that on this one so you guys could kind of see it. So that number, I won't really know for sure until all of the actuals are in and they crunch the numbers. But so we have a little buffer in there to help for that. And then also to help us through this next year when our enrollment numbers are low right now and also our PERS hit. So I'm thankful to say, and I'll have the more firm ending fund balance in July, because then all of June will be wrapped up. So, but right now we're doing all right.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? All right. Last thing on the agenda, individual board member. Yeah, would you like to start, or we'll start with Tracy?
Tracy, you want to go since you're on the screen?
Hi. I don't really have anything to report except that I'm super excited about what we're doing. I can picture it all in my mind's eye, and I think it's going to be such a huge investment for our students. So just very excited.
We didn't call it out in the meeting, but I do want to just note that thank you for the donation of the wood chips. Those are really like handy, nice things for the community to add, and that they're already starting on project graduation. That's impressive. It's like, holy smokes. I really want to do a shout out for the graduation and all of the, Carrie did a lovely job, and the amount of scholarships that those students earned was, I don't know per capita what that meant, but over $2 million for as small of a graduating class as they were. And that was, and I know a couple key individuals, got those scholarships, but dang, even at, I think it was over 600 will be accepted for a graduating class of 43, like 45. I mean, that's unheard. I mean, I don't know how, so the competitive part of me is like, when you talk to people at other school districts, they do not have that number of scholarships for kids that are getting it. It is, and I don't know that we do enough to promote that. I'm just saying. So in terms of like our enrollment numbers going down, because like I've said, oh, well, my kids got Ben and Surf, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, Glide's really fortunate that we have this, available to students, and that they can reapply and re-up. And I mean, my sons have both benefited from that. And so it's an amazing opportunity that Glide has that. And a huge shout out to all of the work that was done to raise money for all of the scholarships, because it's just huge what that means for those students starting out. And also, that there were also some shout out to students that are not going into college as well. So I really love that, and would really love to see how we can continue to support that. So great, amazing job, and huge shout out to those seniors that are graduating. I really was so impressed. And as I said, I was really thrilled to see I mean, I know it wasn't a large amount of people that showed up, but they were different people. And I think it did give a different side of the equation. And I understand that people on fixed income are really concerned about, you know, the cost of living going up and what that means. And so again, that promotion that this is not going to be new for you. You're already paying it. We're not trying to increase it. And the benefit to the community, I think is huge to continue. So thank you to everyone and all of the work that you've done.
Want me to go or you want to go first? Me or you?
Go ahead.
Okay. Along those same lines, Janet, if I had my count right, there was 31 out of 46. Is that right? 45. So 31 out of 45 got a Ben Seraphin. And there was some that got 6 and some that got 4, but I was keeping track of all of those and they pretty much evened out. So 5,000, basically 5,000 times 31. That's just, it's great to have somebody in the community like that, but also supportive of the students. And then my count may have been off, but about 25% of them had a 4.0 or pretty ding dang close. That was wild. We kept hearing 4.0, 4.0, 4.0. Wow. That's again. So what's that?
Yeah,
It-
3.98 or something.
One
is
was,
what
yeah,
it was.
3.99 or something like, how do you do that? So,
Yeah.
but my round up. So, Carrie, I think that's a testament to your staff and what you do. So, students hardly have a big part to play in that too. But, still, that was an impressive group. Had a great time at the Teachers and Staff Awards. Thank you for putting that on and recognizing, yeah, we all know. Who's really behind that, right? Yeah. That was great. And what was the longest 40 years or 45? 40. So,
On Dyer's at 40 years,
yeah,
40 years in the same school district.
I was amazed even at the number of them. I don't know what the count was for 10 years.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
Lot.
coffee mugs out there.
I
Or was
didn't
that
do
the
it.
5?
That was a
That was a
5.
5-year. Okay.
And what I often do is after I'm all done with that, I make everybody stand up that has working for us who's graduated from Glide. I think some of you have seen that when we did that. It always amazes me how many graduate from Glide and choose to come back and give back to our community.
And I think that really brings the strength to the community. So, another thing is, Robert, I'd like to thank you for your being the bond master. Your excitement and your thoroughness.
Overwhelming at times.
And I know we had a little issue tonight, but I still think you're very clear about what that is. You have a smile on your face and you're going after this. We understand that this is tough and serious and difficult, yet you're just going after it. So I just wanted to recognize that. Dan?
I'm just looking forward to setting up a tent at football games and explaining to people why we need to pass this.
Can't wait for that.
I got it in my head.
Love it.
Talk to a board member. I'll sit there and talk to them. Gracie, have fun in the other side of the country.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm in Cleveland tonight. We're going to do the Police Museum and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tomorrow, and then we're driving to Philadelphia. And then Savannah, and then New Orleans, and then Tennessee.
Sorry, I missed graduation, but I did hear it was awesome. Many community members, so
So can you confirm or deny your first phone call was an F-16 that landed on the highway?
Let's not exaggerate, it was an F-18.
That was not an
wanna get a lot of-
F-18 that you
You want to
showed.
get a lot of government agencies excited really fast. Say, Highway 230 is closed because there's an F-18 that's either crashed or emergency landed on it.
That would tend to get your attention.
I was en route when I started getting details that, oh, that's not an F-18, but somebody called 911. It's still an airplane, still a Cessna 182, still a problem in the highway, but not unheard of. It happens. It happens, but not an F-18. That would have been a whole nother monster. I was looking forward to that. But,
That would have been surreal.
yeah, that was, somebody called 911 and said there's an F-18 in the highway. So
That's hilarious.
God bless everyone for just, yeah, when you look at that, you think, I don't know how you got F-18 out of that.
I don't know how you got it.
But somebody was really excited. There was an airplane in the road and they thought that was an F-18. So that was that was the page. We had, I don't know how many troopers and law enforcement and ODOT and everybody
Screaming that way.
in a hurry to, what do we do with an F-18 in the road? So crazy.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. That was not how you do this job long enough. Every year you hear something new, and that was a new thing. We haven't had that.
Yeah, that Ben Seraphin deal is a pretty good deal, and I don't know if everybody knows, but you only have to go to Glide one year. And if you are in high school, 1 year of high school, and you still qualify for the Ben Seraphin, even if you go to a different school. So there's other kids got it outside of just the Glide kids. So. That it, I was kind of curious about the, like, 8 kids that weren't going to college. I wonder, why didn't I get a list of their names? And that 30-second elevator speech, you just,
30-second elevator speech. Yes.
I've never been on an elevator in Blythe.
Fair enough.
Just to let you know. So I'm not really,
I lived in the city longer than you did.
okay. No, and I thought the graduation was good. I mean, fairly long, but not as they are, I kind of like that they do tell what, what's falling up, that they can say what every kid got in their scholarship. That does carry on quite a while, but it is also, I mean, if it was a much bigger school, you couldn't do that.
I like that it's a surprise. Chris keeps it a surprise. Kids don't hear about, what they've got until, right, the families, kids don't know until right.
But no, I thought it went really well. Yes. Hope the bond goes well. I think we'll do really well. Whether we had a lot of people on that other deal. I mean, you talk to the young people with kids, they're really excited about it because they got kids coming. I mean, most people around here are either, there's enough people that went to Glide and have grandkids and such as that. I think
I think if you follow the threads of social media, and somebody was talking about, was it, they didn't have a dog in the fight, or what was the phrase they used? And then the amount of people that came back like, hey, somebody invested in you when you went through school. It's your turn now to invest in. I mean, just the amount of positive things that posts that come from one negative comment.
yeah.
I get a really strong sense that that we're gonna do okay.
Yeah, and people realize that the school's old.
Yeah.
And we are short of classrooms, and I think that, people understand that, so I think we'll do all right. We'll have pretty good support.
Yeah, there was sorry. There was I don't know who she was, but at the teacher and staff awards luncheon that had a shirt on, I'm pretty sure it said Queen of the Modulars on it. I'm like, that's something to think about.
You know that one? Oh.
Did I read that right?
I was
did
one of your teachers.
read that right.
I love it.
So I love it and I don't. It brings it like,
Yeah.
okay. Get the point. Glad there was some humor in that. So
Can I just ask in terms of just the promotion, is and I know it's already summer, but I really do think that there's a lot to be said about some sort of Facebook post on like, congratulations, class of 2026. And just some bullet points about earned, 600,000+ in scholarships. How many 4.0 students, how many, like
4 point close, I think it
four
was
point
around 10.
close, above 3.5. I mean, those are really important things for, I mean, somebody that's looking at like, oh, where should I put my kids and where do I want to go? Because honestly, we hear so much negative about Oregon schools are failing and, test scores are terrible and da, da, da. And I'm like, oh, and I say that is not the case. We see in this community is not that, when I talk to people that have kids in every level of school, that is not what they see. And so I think just maybe, and it goes along with the bond, but changing that narrative, because the government is like, basically, I mean, I'm getting a lot of like press that and things that are looking at the two things that our legislative person says are going to be a priority are ODOT and schools for the next session. So that's what he's predicting is going to happen. And so, like, let's change some of that narrative that's out there that this is terrible and why should we invest in schools? We have these amazing kids just graduating. So anyway, just a thought.
No, that's a great thought
Great
because there's too much out there that's negative against all public schools, and then we get thrown out. We're the baby being thrown out with the bathwater because I don't think we're the same as many of the other schools. So very good. One last thing. July 15th is our next board meeting. And there is a fun part of that. And I don't know if you've talked to Tracy separately or not, but it's the school board organizational meeting. It's that time of year where we get to pick a chairperson again. So if that's something, members, that you have a aspiration aspiring to do, think about that, and that will be on the agenda in July. With that, unless anybody got anything else? Thank you all for attending and putting up with me. Tracy, safe travels.
Safe travel, Tracy.
We're adjourned.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.